wait a minute, I got the company email. My email literally says Courtney.Holman@ESPN.com. Let me start emailing people, see if they want me. Like, let me just cold email people, see if they want to meet. And so that was probably the best thing that the best epiphany that I had, because you never know who's going to reach out. Like, the worst they can do is ignore you or say no. And I actually was shocked.
I wore her colors with my tie from the University of South Carolina. And I want to know, Courtney, who is the real USC? Is it University of South Carolina or is it University of South Carolina?
90% is what you do outside the classroom. So, like, if you can go outside, and, you know, we in the age of social media, so I know everybody got a phone, everybody got a tripod, everybody got a ring light. You got stuff. Like, you got stuff. So you can just go outside.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Career Education Learning Center podcast. I'm your host, Mitchell Rivers. I am thrilled and excited to have on our show today, Courtney Holman. Courtney is an analyst reporter for the Columbia Fireflies, a minor league baseball team located in Columbia, South Carolina. In addition, she is also a recent graduate of the University of South Carolina, located in Columbia, South Carolina. How are you doing today, Courtney?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing fine. As I told Courtney before we started, I wore her colors with my tie from the University of South Carolina. And I want to know, Courtney, who is the real USC? Is it University of South Carolina or is it University of South Carolina?
That's not even a question. It's definitely University of South Carolina. And I stand by that. It's University of Southern Carolina. Southern Cal needs to figure out what they need to be called. First, they're USC, then they go by SC. You can't have both.
Courtney, tell the audience, why did you choose University of South Carolina to pursue your educational career?
Yeah, so I grew up, born and raised in Columbia, South Carolina, grew up here. My dad is actually an alumni of the University of South Carolina. And so when we were small, me and my sister, he would always take us to the women's basketball games. Like, we actually saw the evolution of women's basketball when it was general admission to now you have to be a season ticket holder to even sit in the lower bowl. When nobody was in the stadium, in the arena, to like now everybody's in the arena. And so just being around Columbia and the University of South Carolina and Gamecock culture since growing up, when it was time for me to choose what school, I knew that I wanted to do broadcast journalism because I was an athlete at Dutch Fork High School. And I didn't see myself doing basketball after high school. So I was like, I think I want to do sports journalism. So I was like, you know what schools have the best sports journalism programs? And so University of South Carolina had a great journalism program, great broadcasting program. A lot of great people came out of there. Alyssa Lang came out of the University of South Carolina. So I was like, why am I going to go anywhere else? And I can just stay home. So that's why I chose the University of South Carolina.
Now, did you always want to be a reporter when you were younger? Or did you do like I did or had a thoughts like I did? I want to be a professional basketball or football player.
When I was younger, I was always into like the arts. So I did dance, starting at the age of 2. And then I did dance and theaters when I was in the 5th grade. And then I did dance, theater, and basketball one time, all 3 at the same time. So I was like never home, always had something to do Sunday through Sunday, always had something to do. So, I was always really into the arts, really into just creative stuff, period. So when it did come time for me to choose, it wasn't a hard decision because I like to, I ain't gonna lie, I don't like to write like that, but like I like to tell stories. I like to listen to people and hear their stories and connect with people. So that just seemed like the go-to path for me, the like no-brainer path, like, oh, okay, journalism. And then sports journalism, like I said, came from me being an athlete, loving to be around the game, loving football, loving baseball, loving basketball, like all of that. So that was just a no-brainer for me. That's why I was like, oh, okay, sports journalism, I can combine what I want. And then doing theater, you kind of have to have a personality to be in front of the camera, right?
You do, yes.
Exactly. So theater, all of the stuff that I learned doing theater, I kind of just use in my reporting and use in my stuff. Cause I'm like, you have to have a personality. You have to connect with people. You have to memorize lines. Like it's all of that. So yeah.
So that theater training helped a lot during your career thus far, huh?
It actually did. It actually helped more than I realized. So
And why is that? What is that transferable skill that you took from theater to sports journalism?
Storytelling. I mean, doing theater, when you're doing a play, you're creating story essentially. And so just storytelling in journalism and storytelling in theater, trying to figure out what connects with audiences, what resonates with audiences, what doesn't, how do audiences feel when you deliver a line in this way, when you're talking about this in this way. That's the skill that transferred over to journalism, and projecting your voice when you're on the stage to say your lines, like making sure even the person in the far back can hear you, especially if you're not a main character and don't have a mic. Just projecting your voice and stuff. And even when you're on camera doing journalism, like on the sideline, you still got to project your voice, even though you have a mic, because you got the stadium lights, you got coaches, you got fans. Like, they're not like, everybody's hearing all of that. So you need to hear yourself and they need to hear you. So you need to project your voice and speak loud. And so those are the skills that transferred, but mostly storytelling, because figuring out how to craft a story is probably the most like number one thing you need to know how to do in journalism, period. Whether it's investigative journalism, entertainment, news, you need to know how to craft a story because people need to follow the story. So
yes, you really do. And when you don't want to be entertained at the same time, you won't be too much of a bore, Exactly. Here are the University of South Carolina.
Exactly.
You don't really sound excited there, do you? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
You go to the University of South Carolina game. Now, me being from Charlotte in this area, knowing how popular the Gamecocks are, they really are. I mean, in football, baseball, was there, and it's a big university, was there a big transfer as far as, do you have any challenges coming from high school going to University of South Carolina, as big as it is and as popular as it is?
Surprisingly, no, because like I said, growing up here, like everybody in Columbia, whether you're from Chapin, Lexington, like Charleston, you have come to University of South Carolina at some point in your life, especially if you grew up here. And a lot of kids actually end up staying here because the South Carolina, they also have the #1 business school in the country. Oh. So the Darla Moore School. So like a lot of business majors, like it's a good school. So I actually, even though I didn't see them on campus a lot, like I actually knew a good bit of people that were going to South Carolina. It's either South Carolina or Clemson. It's one of the two. Like,
yes.
So, or College of Charleston. I'll throw that in there too. So one of the three. So, it wasn't that big of an adjustment. I would say the biggest adjustment for me would just be, I would say just kind of like trying to find my niche within the school. Not necessarily like the big school itself, but just trying to find my lane and meet new people and stuff. Cause I really wanted to be intentional about meeting new folks and going out and, trying to explore all that South Carolina had to offer, like USC had to offer in terms of clubs and sporting events and just different things. So that was probably the hardest thing, just trying to find like where I wanted to, have my fun and fit in and learn and all that within the school.
Yeah, I'm ready to say that. And I try to encourage students, whether high school students or the college students, to really embrace the culture of your college. You know what I'm saying? Most colleges have a lot to offer. I went to Central Piedmont Community College here first 2 years. And then next I went to UNC Pembroke. And so I had to learn to adjust to not only the culture, but the type of environment I was in. Whereas I'm in Charlotte, I worked part-time and went to community college and everything hustle and bustle. And then once I got to UNC Pembroke, more like a small college town, and everything slowed down tremendously, So how do I find my niche within the University of North Carolina Pembroke? And I didn't play no sports or nothing like that. I was just a business major. And so finding that lane was a little bit, a little bit daunting there. At the same time, Courtney, I also was on reserve. And so I had my reserve duty to do on the weekend. So I had quite a bit of different avenue of getting my degree from the University of North Carolina Pembroke. Now, did you receive a scholarship or did you get any financial assistance help when you were at the University of South Carolina?
Yeah, so I received the Life Scholarship here, which in here in South Carolina, the Life Scholarship is through like the state. There's the Life and then the Palmetto Scholarship. So I received the Life Scholarship, so that helped a little bit for my whole 4 years because it was like a 4-year scholarship. They give you the money over your time at USC or wherever you go because it's an in-state scholarship. And then I also received a couple of other just like little scholarships here and there from like the Young Leaders Association, which is by a local radio station here, a local gospel radio station. So I received a scholarship from them. And then I also received, what else did I receive? It's been a minute because, once you get this, Look, once you get those scholarships, and like,
That's okay. I just want to point out to my audience that there's no scholarship too little or too small. So even if you've already graduated and you go to graduate school, get scholarships. Even if you're a junior or senior, keep applying for scholarships, and that would help you financially, especially with the strains of financial situations that everyone seems to be in today in 2026. And so I want to encourage people, whether you're a traditional or non-traditional student, to seek out scholarships, grants, seek out going to your financial aid office in order to get those scholarships and grants for that way they can further their future career.
Oh yeah, I was on all those sites, like going in like my senior year of high school, those scholarships that you can just like put like random stuff like enter in to win a $500 scholarship if you like if you like the Gamecocks. Okay. If you like dancing, okay, like nothing, anything helps. So I was on all those sites.
And one of the things that we stress here at the Career Education Learning Center, especially on the podcast, is internships. Did you do some internships while you was at the University of South Carolina?
Yeah. So funny story. I was actually like really freaking out junior year because I was like, oh my God, I'm about to be a senior. I have no internships. And like with the field that I want to go in, like, it's really about what you do outside the classroom. They don't care about what your grade is in journalism 202. Okay, what have you done outside the classroom? Like, let me see your reel. What have you done? What standouts? What news packages? What have you done? So I was kind of freaking out because I was like, like I'm about to be a senior. Like, I don't know, like what, like I haven't had like I felt behind. So University of South Carolina actually just implemented a sports media department. When I was a freshman, they didn't have that. They just had concentration, like sports media concentration. Right. So that's what I had to declare as like a broadcast journalism major, but a sports media concentration.
Okay.
So we would take like sports classes or whatever to fulfill the concentration. And so one of the sports classes that I was taking at the time was SEC football.
Oh, yes.
University of South Carolina has a whole class dedicated to SEC football.
Yes, they should.
So I was taking SEC football class, and then so in that class, Dr. Hull, he would send out like internships periodically, like within the sports world, like whether that be like Nike or like the Columbia Firefly was having an internship, or Gamecock Athletics was looking for creative media interns, whatever. So he would send that out periodically throughout the year or whatever. And so I was sitting in class one day, and after class, he had sent out ESPN internships. And I was like, oh, like, okay, cool. Big four letters, whatever, cool. So I was looking through the descriptions of everyone, because there were multiple different ones in different areas, because, they have multiple offices throughout the states. So I was looking, and I saw a stage manager internship, and I was like, reading the description. I was like, okay, I did community theater, remember growing up. Yeah. So when I wasn't doing shows, I always wanted to still be around the shows. And so I would stage manage the shows. So I would like help out behind the scenes and stuff like that, direct the cast and all of that. So I was like, you know what? I've done this before. I've done stage managing before. Let me go ahead and sign up. So I went on ahead, put my application in. I put it in for two. I put in for one in Bristol, one in Charlotte. The stage manager one was in Bristol. The remote operations one was in Charlotte at the SEC office. So I put in for both. And so ended up getting an interview for both, and ended up getting both. And the recruiter was just like, at this point, Courtney, it's a matter of where you want to be. Do you want to be in Charlotte or do you want to be in Bristol? And so my mom was the one that was really like, you need to go to Bristol. Charlotte's too close to home. Too many distractions from your friends over the summer. Like, like if they're like, oh, let's do this, you close, so you can. And you in Bristol, you not that close. No, you're solely focused on, right. You're solely focusing on your internship. And I was like, okay, you're right. So I packed up and I went to Bristol, and I stage managed, Sports Center, first taking NFL Live. And that was probably the best decision I ever made, like for like my future career, because being at Bristol, that's the headquarters of ESPN. Right. So anybody that works for ESPN, SEC Network, whatever, ACC Network has to come through Bristol at some point. And so my internship, I really kind of count my blessings, because I say it's like the best of both worlds.
Right.
So I wasn't specifically in the production room as a PA assistant, like some of the others were. I was on the set with the camera operators, with the anchors, had to talk to the directors, had to talk to the producers. So I got to be in the face of the people that I wanted to be like one day. So I got to build that rapport with them and talk to them and meet with them and stuff like that. And so that was probably the best internship that I've ever had. And and I'm like, yeah, that was pretty cool. So yeah.
Yeah, I think the one thing that you said, and I tell my son that's who want to be out in front, is do behind the scenes. You know, a lot of comedians or entertainers, they were behind the scenes. There was a backup singer, or there was a stagehand, or for comedy, they were writers, you know, and they did the gopher stuff, and they did little stuff like that. And once, because you get a whole broad view, so you just don't get that one point of view of your reporter or you're on the desk or whatever. You get to know how the whole show run behind the scenes, and I think that makes you a better person once you get in front of the camera. Would you agree?
It does. But at the same time, there actually aren't a lot of like internships for in front of the camera. Like if you really look at it, there's really nothing for in front of the camera. It's always a production runner, always social media, like behind the scenes filming social media, being a PA, being a stage manager. Like there's very rarely a on-air fellowship or on-air internship, you know? So you have to get those behind the scenes jobs just to, as I like to say, be in the room. And that's where you network and build connections with people. Cause that's one of the things that being at ESPN taught me. Like I had like an epiphany one day. I was like sitting in the hotel that they had us staying at. And I was like, wait a minute. I got the company email. My email literally says Courtney.Holman@ESPN.com. Let me start emailing people, see if they want me. Like, let me just cold email people, see if they want to meet. And so that was probably the best thing the best epiphany that I had, because you never know who's going to reach out. Like the worst they could do is ignore you or say no. And I actually was shocked by the people that reached out. And I like met some pretty cool people just by, you know, going out on a limb and just emailing them and cold emailing them saying, hey, my name is Courtney Holman. I'm an intern here. I just really want to talk to you, get some advice and this, that, and the third, and just kind of, you know, be myself and build that rapport with them. And then, you know, it just kind of blossomed from there. And so that's why I say, like, just say yes to every opportunity is what I had been kind of living by, because you never know where that opportunity is going to lead to the next opportunity and the next opportunity. So yeah, and ESPN, my internship at ESPN is a very big like example of that. I went from ESPN, then I went back to school my senior year. Because of a connection that I had at ESPN, I got to go to NABJ, my first NABJ, which was great. I had never been before, even though
I don't mean cut you off. What is the NABJ or NABJ?
So, NABJ is the National Association of Black Journalists, and it's a conference that they hold.
We didn't know that, people. See, I'm helping you out, people. I'm helping you out, okay? I sound like Mike Epps there, you know.
No, it's good. It's the National Association of Black Journalists, and it's a national organization. And a lot of schools have chapters. So I was a member of the chapter at University of South Carolina. Oh, good. And every year during the summer, they have a big conference. And during this conference, you can like meet with people. They have a career fair. They have everything there.
Oh, so wow, that's
my
great.
And my first one was the last part of my internship, because my internship ended in August, and NABJ was also in August. So my last like couple of days, my internship worked it out to where I was able to go, because First Take was going live at NABJ. So they were like, oh, she stage manages for us. Let's just send her to NABJ so she can get a good experience and also part of her internship. So I was really thankful for my supervisors for that. And so I got to experience NABJ for the first time and connect with people there. And then that connection at NABJ led to me being with TNT Sports. And that just like, it was just a snowball. So that's why I say you just say yes to every opportunity, because you never know where it's going to lead you.
Yeah, I think you said some valuable things there. It's networking, you know what I'm saying? And they put you in networking in front of people that can help either further your career, or you can get those nuggets from what you do to further your career. And that's why I try to explain to students and people who want to change careers, that get in front of people who actually does what you want to do, and let them do the nuggets and give you nuggets and give you all kinds of suggestion and advice. Ask them questions. Stay there for you. Most people that I know, and there's always a couple that's outside the box, they want to help you. They want to see you succeed. And so you have an opportunity to be in front of a room or in front of people that do what you want to do. Then that's your time to be able to ask questions and get some answers there. And they may tell you something you didn't even know that may help you later on in your career.
Exactly. I do. I agree 100%. Like I would say networking is like a give and take. Most people look at it as like a transactional thing. Like, oh, let me network with this person because they're where I want to be, and let me ask them this. And then they don't ever reach out to them again. Like, just keep in touch with who you meet. Like, you never know. Like, people want to see you. They want to know what you're up to. And even if you don't have anything you need to ask them, you know, just be like, hey, I was thinking about you. How was your day? Like, that's what I do. I was like, hey, I was thinking about you. How was your day? Or hey, Happy New Year. Hey, Merry Christmas. Like, just like it's a give and take. Like, you don't always want somebody to take from you. You want somebody to give to you too. So it's just like, I just look at it as like how you would look at a friend, take away their title, take away whatever. They're essentially a stranger that you're building a friendship with. That's how I look at it.
There's no doubt about that. Did you do any practice interviewing? I seen on your post when I looked at your LinkedIn that you did some interviewing. Was that before you got the job with the Columbia Fireflies, or was that doing an internship? And how was that?
Yes. So I've done when I was in school at the University of South Carolina, I got involved with SGTV, which is Student Gamecock Television. It's the student-run news station at USC. I got involved with that my freshman year because I really wanted to make sure that this was something that I wanted to do. Because with the track at USC, you don't touch a camera or do anything like hands-on until your junior year. And if I get to junior year and realize I don't want to do this, I'm stuck, I was like, let me get involved with like doing SGTV because they were like the closest you could get to what you would do in your class.
Right.
And the university was really good with giving SGTV access to like the women's basketball games, the football games, soccer games, like all athletic events, like just as if we were just like a local news station or ESPN or something. They were really good with giving us access in that way. So I was like, okay, let me get involved with this so I know that this is what I want to do. So from there, I got to interview, Gamecock athletics. So I got to interview some volleyball players, some basketball players, some football players. Mm-hmm. Got to do the student news show at SGTV. And then when I got my fellowship with TNT Sports, that's where I got to do like NBA and NHL Winter Classic and the Vegas Cup, like the Emirates Cup and stuff like that. And so that was also where I got to do interviewing, but also I did interviewing on my own because you got to do stuff when nobody's watching you. Yeah. So I got to do interviews on my own. So I would just get like some of the people that I like made friends with at USC. I was really good with taking advantage of being at an SEC school because, being in the journalism school, a lot of like athletes are in my classes and stuff like that. A lot of them want to do like sports or sports medicine or sports media or something creative like that. So I was really good with like kind of making friends and stuff like that. So I would just kind of lean on them, be like, hey, like, want to help me out? I got this. Can I ask you a couple questions? Like, yeah. And I mean, I always tell people like all the time, like, take advantage of being at your school. Like, whether you're at like a D2 school, a big D1 school, just take advantage of being at your school and especially if you want to do like sports media or whatever, just take advantage of being around the athletes at your school. Mm-hmm. Because you don't know where they're going to be at, but essentially like, you're helping them, they're helping you because, athletes go through media training. So It's like this for them as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's where the interview, all of that was before the Fireflies actually. So yeah.
Well, you did a segue to my next question then. How did you come to work for the Fireflies? How did that come to be?
Yeah, so the Fireflies actually came about after NBA All-Star Weekend. I was doing that. And so I didn't realize the magnitude of the TNT Sports fellowship that I was doing until NBA Cup. That's when I was like, oh, this is a big deal. Okay, cool. Because I knew that like it was going to be like live. Like I was essentially like a reporter for TNT working with inside the NBA and all of that. But I didn't realize like people actually watch this stuff. You know what I'm saying? It didn't hit me. Like I know people watch it because dang it, I used to watch it. Yeah. So like, but it didn't hit me. And so during NBA All-Star Weekend, I was doing the same thing, like interviewing players and stuff like that. And so, one of the Fireflies followed me on Instagram, and whoever runs their Instagram, I think it's John. I don't know who runs their Instagram, but, whoever ran their Instagram at the time, emailed me or like DM'd me and was kind of just like, hey, like, saw you on All-Star Weekend, like, saw that you were local. How do you feel about broadcasting baseball? And I was like, oh, okay. And remember when I said like, say yes to every opportunity, like, that's a new realm. Like, I watch baseball. It's not like I'm new to the game at all. But like I've never had to talk about it in the capacity that they were asking me to talk about it in. Mm-hmm. And so just having meetings with the communications directors and the guy that does play-by-play for them, they were really like good and really like comfortable with allowing me to kind of like learn as I go and stuff like that. Because I mean, essentially it is like learning a new skill, right. Especially if you're talking about a sport that you haven't played and that you just used to casually watch.
Right.
Go back to ground zero. You know, I had a whole running spreadsheet about like baseball terms, because baseball is such a traditional sport. Like you have what you're talking about. So I didn't want to get on the air and not know what I'm talking about. So they were really good. The Fireflies was really good with making me feel comfortable and allowing me space to grow and like, you know, trial and error. So that's how it came to be. They saw me at All-Star Weekend and pretty much was like, hey, you want to broadcast baseball? You're local. We want you. And I was like, oh, okay, great. That's fun. I like baseball. And it was just another chance for me to, you know, add a new skill. And like I said, say yes to every opportunity, because you never know where it's going to lead. So,
well, Courtney, I tell you what, I won't hold you up too much or my audience up too much, but I have really enjoyed having you on my podcast today. I learned a lot. I laughed, I giggled, and you gave a lot of nuggets for future people who want to go into journalism or communications or express journalism. Do you have any advice for students with a high school or college that want to be in the journalism world?
Yeah, I would just say every rep counts, because like I mentioned, like what you do inside the classroom matters like 10%. 90% is what you do outside the classroom. 90% is what you do outside the classroom. So like if you can go outside, and you know, we in the age of social media, so I know everybody got a phone, everybody got a tripod, everybody got a ring light. You got stuff. Like you got stuff. So you could just go outside, go to a stadium, like maybe a local baseball team, or like if you're in high school, your high school baseball team is playing. Go out there, do a stand up, record the game, voice over the game, essentially make a package of the game. And I like one of your homeboys, your homegirls may be on the team, pull them aside for an interview if they did a good game. Like practice like that. Like any rep matters, any rep counts. So just really just get out there and be proactive, because this is an industry that you have to have a passion for. If you don't have a passion for it, it's not going to go the way you want it. So you have to have a passion for it. You have to be hungry for it. That's my biggest piece of advice.
Well, I tell you what, those are some good nuggets. And if I was younger than you and wanted to be a journalism degree, I would definitely follow what you said there. That sounds very good sound advice. I try to reinforce to our audience that, hey, go outside the box sometimes, you know. Do things other than what you mandatory to do, and do extra things there, and even some outside the box things that you think are crazy or not right. You're like, oh, okay, that may come in handy later on. And like you said, surprisingly you, that your little theater production that you was doing came to be more a transferable skill to have you doing what you're doing now. Ain't that amazing?
Yeah.
That's amazing, people. Well, Courtney, thank you so much for coming on my show today. I really do appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
And I'd like to thank our viewers and listeners. For me, Mitchell Rivers, on the Career Education Learning Center podcast, where we make your career dreams a reality. God bless.